Alright, how's it going, guys? Today we are going to set up a canning machine. I've already got the boiler and stuff set up here. You guys have seen all of this done before, so no reason to continue with it. But we made a battery box in the live stream. No batteries. We're going to make one of them today. And we made the canning machine in the live stream as well, which is right here. Oh, and I went out and checked on my bees today, and I actually have a cultivated bumblebee. It's only the drone, though. I need to mix that back in with the common and try to get it cultivated, but I'm going to hold on to this until I get a few of them, and then we're going to give it a go. But first things first, we need to get a battery made for our battery box. So we need to make some battery alloy, something we haven't made here yet. So I'm going to go ahead and make it for you guys right here. It's very simple. It's 4-to-1 ratio of antimony and lead. Just going to throw that all in there. And if we look up the battery alloy, you will see that it combines at 660, which is 60 more than what lead does. So we're going to have a color change that we're going to be looking for here. And we need this in plates. So see if I can find a plate mold here. We can take this one. Alright, and this should be set for no auto pour, which is what we want. So we're going to light this up. I've got my pincers here. This shouldn't take very long because we're putting a bunch of heat in this crucible. Alright, so there's the lead. And it should change color. It may have been too quick. So let's pour it and check. Yeah, that is battery alloy. So it went from 600 to 660 quick enough that I couldn't see it. Because usually I do believe there's a slight tint change. But that'll give us 5 battery alloy plates. Now, when it comes to batteries, we have many different choices. We're going to be starting with lead acid batteries, which means we need 2 battery alloy plates, a tin cable, and 2 of these lead acid cells, which needs to be filled with sulfuric acid. The empty one is lead foil and a curved battery alloy plate. So we need to take 2 of these and go throw them in to be turned into curved plates. And then we need to make some lead foil. So let's throw these 2 in here. Oops, in here. And that will curve them. And we'll go ahead and grab 4 lead. And we'll throw it in here. And we can't do foil in here, but we can do plates, which if I remember correctly, I normally do over here. Let's get this andesite out of here. Wire, rod, plate, there it is. So we can throw that in there. light that up, and that'll make our lead plates, which then we throw into our cluster mill, and that'll make our lead foil. And show you guys this. We're going to be using it here in a little bit. This is an energy sensor. It's very simple recipe: T2 or higher circuit, tin wires, tin cables, and a blank cover. We can get rid of all that. And then we need that around there like that. We need our 2 curved battery alloy plates, which needs to be in there. And then we need the hammer and wire cutter, which for wire cutter we're using our multi-tool, because I am too lazy to make wire cutters again. So there's our 2 empty battery cells. And now we need sulfuric acid. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this tap outside, and we're going to go to the sulfuric acid tank, and doink, doink. And there we go. We have now filled it up. By the way, distillation tower is now off. I have ran through both drums of that oil, or that lava. So we will be setting up getting lava pumped and up here to a tank rather soon. Alright, so now we need those, and it was 2 of these, and then we needed a tin cable on the top, like so, and wire cutters in the corner. So there we go. We now have an LV battery. We can now store power. And you can also place these on the ground. They don't do anything but sit there and look pretty. You do have lead acid of all the levels from ULV to EV. We can make alkaline as well. But for alkaline, we need potassium hydroxide, and I don't have the thing set up to make that right now. Along with zinc, steel wire, carbon, pyrolusite, aluminum foil, curved stainless steel plate, plastic ring, and battery alloy. It wouldn't be very difficult to do so, but I need the potassium hydroxide, so we went with the basic one. There are nickel cadmium, lithium cobalt, and lithium manganese as well. Nickel cadmium being the easier of those 3, but to do so, for those you need a graphite rod, and the only way to get a graphite rod is to extrude graphite at 512, which we cannot do. We have an Invar extruder for 256. We need a titanium to do 512. So before we can do any of the last 3 batteries, we will have to set up one of these to get our graphite rods, because as you'll see, all of these cells need a graphite rod. But for the 2 lithiums, you need lithium perchlorate, and that is a whole nother mess we will get into later. So this is a 32 EU battery, meaning that it will only put out one packet of 32 EU. Even though the battery box can put out up to 64, the battery size is only 32. And each battery dictates how many amps will come out. And since I did one, we're going to be putting out 32, which is fine. That's actually what we want it to do. I'm probably going to set up the rest of them to be alkaline. I'll probably do 4 alkaline eventually. But for right now, we're going to do just that one. And we're going to make 2x cables. These can handle 32, so the max of what that battery can put out, this wire can handle, and we're actually doing 2x, which can handle 2 amps of it. So we could upgrade to another battery and be just fine. And that's why I'm doing this. The 2x cable is just in case we decide we want to put another battery in here at some point, or when we upgrade to the other batteries. So now we have a canning machine. It needs EU in the back. So we're going to put this right there. We could connect it directly to the battery box. We don't actually need the cable, but we have 2 other machines that we need to hook up. So that's why I'm doing it this way for right now. Let's go ahead and fire this up. We're using natural gas for our power. Distilled water, obviously. Now, this is a very inefficient way of doing it because it's bronze. If I look up steam here, we are using a strong steam boiler, which is 192 steam per tick, which is going into a steel steam turbine, which is going to turn that 192 steam into 64 RU. And the burning box for bronze is like 70% efficiency. But since we're burning our natural gas, it's not a big deal. I am going to be running hydrogen over here as well. I just wanted to show you guys with the natural gas because it was easier for me to get set up currently. But I do need to burn off natural gas or hydrogen so we can make more oxygen and stuff. I may use that for something else. I have an idea for that. I haven't decided yet. But with this being 70% efficient, it's not a big deal to use the natural gas. We've got tons of it. If you didn't have an infinite natural gas thing, you probably would want to go with a better burning box like Dense Invar, do a couple of them, something like that. Which means you would have to use a different boiler, but since we've got the natural gas, we're using that. And then if we look at the dynamo, we are doing 64 RU, which is giving us 44 EU. And you'll see that we are now getting power in there, and we're now getting power in here, which we're wasting currently. We're going to go ahead and grab a machine switch, which I should have right here. And we're going to throw this on the canning machine. That way it's not running until we want it to run. There we go. And then we'll be able to see the battery filling up as soon as the buffer for the battery box has filled. There is an internal buffer, so don't freak out when you're not seeing any power in your batteries. You can tell that it is charging because you can see the power on the battery and you can see the little light flashing there. And there you go. Our power is going up. And you don't really have to worry about shutting these off as long as the steam is turning the dynamo, and the dynamo will create power even if the battery box can't take it. This will never blow up. We are going to set it up to turn off when it gets full, but the main thing we need to do right now is fill these empty gas laser emitters. We made these in the live stream, which they need T2 circuits, copper cables, 1Xs, 2 silver plates, stainless steel screw, glass, wire cutter, and screwdriver. And we're going to be using these to set up making electric CO2 lasers. So we need carbon dioxide inside of them, and the only way to do that is with a canning machine. So we're going to put these two in there, and I've already captured a bit of CO2 from our CO2 electrolyzer over there. So we're going to put that right there, and out comes our CO2 lasers. So there we go, all done. Now, what we can do, just in case we need this for something else, which we most definitely do, get to that in a minute, we can go ahead and pull that CO2 back out of there by grabbing our gas nozzle. We're gonna stick this on here and pull the CO2 back out. As you see, nothing in there. So that is all good. You can see we are completely full on power now, and everything is still running perfectly fine. Nothing's blowing up. I do have a piston down there to shut it off, which we will be doing. But like I said, I have excess, so wasting a little bit's not a big deal to me. Now we're going to go ahead and change this over to screwdriver. And we're going to take that energy sensor that we made, and we're going to stick this right here and then hit it with the screwdriver. Redstone scales down, scales up. We want it to go up, I do believe. And if we take, let's see, this, put our redstone there, that is full power right now because it's full of power. So actually, I think I want it down. No, I do want it up. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this. We want it to be just close to full. So we want like 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see. Do that. I need one more redstone, which I'm actually out of. I've got to get some more redstone. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook that there, run this over, and I missed my wire cutters. There we go. Blink. And now that will shut it off whenever it gets up to 13. Now there is a way to do this with a comparator that is way more simple, but more complicated and technical. Me and XAR had done a video on it. He understands it well. I'm going to actually try it in the next video and see if I can get it to work right. It'll be like a 0.5 video that I'll add on to this or put out shortly after this. If you don't see that, then I failed horribly and I apologize. But let's get to the rest of what we're doing right now, and we'll get to me trying to figure that out later. So what we're doing now is we're going to make our CO2 lasers, which I already have everything set up for, except for I used the tin cables I needed for something else, the energy sensor actually. Alright, so they go just like that, and that's our CO2 laser. And we need 2 of them because we actually have down here a laser engraver and a laser welder. And we want to set both of these up. We're going to need these last 2 automatic machine sensors. Now, I cannot run any of these machines at the same time. I need to run each one independently because of the way I have it currently set up. Now, we're going to do, actually, I'm going to close that for the minute. We're going to put that right there. And both of these take their laser units in from the top. So we're going to go that way. We're going to put that one there. And it's going to go that way. And then we're going to put the engraver here. We're going to put the welder here. And I'll put chests on the side of both of them. I'm going to have to move this if I put a chest on here. But I probably won't need to do anything where I need a chest currently. So what this laser engraver is going to do, I guess I should show you the recipe. The canning machine, 2 compact pumps, 2 tiny stainless pipes, a 1x tin cable, T1 circuit or better, wrench and hammer, the laser engraver, and the welder are the same recipe. The only difference is you use a screwdriver for the engraver. You need a block of hardened clay or a ceramic plate here. Steel, galvanized steel casing, T1 or better circuits, galvanized small gears, galvanized screws. And as I said, same exact thing here, except this one uses a yellow lens, which I lucked out, and it will take andradite. Right there it is, an andradite lens, because you need a crystalline plate of any of those to do this. And to get that crystalline plate, you need a flawless or better with a saw, or you need a cutter with a regular version, but you need 96 RU to do so, which means you need the steel buzzsaw, and the steel buzzsaw needs a special blade that the bronze one does not need. That's cobalt brass buzzsaw, and cobalt brass needs aluminum in it, and I didn't feel like setting up an entirely different cutter. I did have yellow sapphire, but I don't want to use them. I will need them later on for the end game specialty circuit things, which we'll get into later. So it's nice that I had those. So it's really important that if you find androdite smalls, or if you find them in a loot chest, I do believe that's where I got mine from, was a loot chest, hang on to them. Same with like the tiger eye, stuff like that. You may need them. So, precision laser engraver. You can do a lot of different things with it. This is one of the special circuits we're going to need later. That one is a emerald. You can do all the fancy stuff to blocks with a sapphire lens. There's all kinds of different ones that you can do. What we're actually wanting here, by the way, this is the diamond version. You can also do A2 stuff if you're into doing A2. You do need 512 for that, and that's one of the only ones that you're really going to need a laser engraver higher. So you ain't doing that in this one. But we are needing to do these, but the better versions of them, not the magic-y ones. We need to do the gold ones. And the gold can be done in LV 16 gold foil is what you need, and then some type of red lens. So we're gonna have to make a red lens. We can do ruby. I would prefer not to do ruby. We can do zircon, but I do believe you have to cut the zircon. The zirconium you can pour. The zircon you cannot, because if you melt it, it'll become zirconium. So I'd have to have a better zircon for that. Almandine is probably what I will use. There is railgar, but I have dust of that, not gems. And so we'll probably look for an almandine vein and try to get one of that. There's a redstone lens, so we could do this if we get, which getting a flawless or exquisite redstone is not hard. So we could do that. Spessartine, red jasper, big spite we don't want to do because that's an emerald. Fire we don't have. Red onyx, dragon eye, and then red adventurine. We can also do the copper wiring in here as well. It's going to need a red lens as well. And then when we get to that point, we can also do the platinum, which needs the red lens as well. All of them being 16 EU a tick. So that will work perfectly fine in there. That's what we made that for, because we were talking about setting up the rotational engine, but we wanted to do 2 machines off of it. So therefore we needed the universal extender, which needs T3 or better circuits. So for a T3 circuit, we need a gold plate, and for a gold plate, we need the gold wiring. So we need this right here, which needs that gold wiring. So this is basically unlocking our way of making our universal extender for us to set up out there for our biomass distillation tower. Now, the reason why I did the laser welder is this is going to give us the ability to save on a lot of our tools, because we can make all of the machine casings with rods, plates, double plates. You can also make double plates now without an anvil by doing double ingots in the rolling mill, which we have. You just need to use the welder to weld the two ingots together with a selector tag of 2. If you need to do 3, it's a selector tag of 3, 4, so on, so forth. And these are all 16 recipes. Another thing we're going to be using it for, you could put rods back together into long rods if you wanted to. But what we're going to be using it for mainly is walls. Invar walls, we normally have to do a wrench and a hammer with 4 plates. We can now do 4 plates and a selector tag of 10, and it'll give us our wall still 16. Now, if we want to do dents, that's going to be 64. So we're going to need to set up a different CO2 laser when we get to that point. But right now, we're primarily using regular tanks, so we're perfectly fine with the T1 version, or the regular version that's only 16. So we were talking about the fact that we were going to be using the lava out there, but we need to set up 2 tanks. That's why we hadn't set them up yet, is rather than using the durability of my hammer and my wrench, I'm going to use that machine, and I'm going to weld my walls together in there. Now, the final thing we're going to do today is we can now finally make a lighter. Now, unfortunately, the regular lighter and the shiny lighter are loot items only in this version. But there is a plastic lighter, which is 2 curved plastic sheets, a piece of flint, a steel or iron screw with a screwdriver and wire cutters. And the nice thing is that when it is empty, you can recycle it and get everything back in the shredder except the flint. And the gas, obviously, because you're going to already have used that. But you can throw that in the shredder. You'll get your 2 plastic back and a tiny pile of iron dust. So, very, very nice. So, we are going to make one of those today. I have a steel screw right here. We have plastic dust right here. Now, the only issue is I don't think I have a curved plate mold. So we're going to have to make one of them. We've got steel right here, so we're going to put these together. You can't curve plastic in there. This has to be extruded. So now we need this shape. So we need a regular plate with the wire cutters up there, and the regular plate is file, hammer, excuse me, hammer, file, wire cutters, and then this up here is our curved plate. So now we will throw this in here instead of the plate one. And that spider is getting annoying. Now, for the last time, let's light this bad boy up. Make our 2 curved plastic plates. Put in our steel screw. And we need screwdriver and wire cutter down there. Luckily, I made a screwdriver in the live stream the other day. Let's go grab us a piece of flint. Now, I will tell you, while we're grabbing our flint here, that Greg is a little goofy with this lighter because he allows you to put in butane or propane. Butane is what it should take, not propane. Propane is a bit much for this. But there we go. Now we're just going to take and grab... We actually could make a gas cylinder for this, but I'm not real worried about filling up a drum. So we're going to use a drum because I have it. We need to get the CO2 out first, which, let me climb up here. And magnifying glass. That is chlorine. That is carbon dioxide. And it's now empty. Run back here to the tank. I really need to make a back door for this place. That way I don't have to run all the way around here. And that is petrol. That is butane, which is what we actually want. Yeah, we're going to have a problem with that. I got butane and propane coming in there. So we got to hope like hell we get the right one. Again, it doesn't matter. Aha, we got the right one. It doesn't matter. You can fill it up with both. I'll show you here. Canning machine, butane, propane. But I will use butane because that is right. I have no idea what propane would do in a lighter like that, but I just know it's not done. There's also regular lighter fluid for the other lighters, which I don't know what it actually consists of, but you use propane or butane for both of them as well, which is wrong, because you do not fill a Zippo style lighter up with a gas. It is a liquid. look here. So now we will pop that on there, throw our lighter in, and there is our plastic lighter. We now have 90% chance of it lighting and 100 uses in this nice little compact package. Works just like a match does. Right click, it'll light something. And we're actually going to take our butane and just sit it over here. And then if we need to pop this out of here to can up something else, we can do so. You can also use wax capsules. Greg has, let's see if I can find one. Capsule cell container. This isn't a bad use for wax. You can make these with a low heat extruder and a bit of wax. You can use the beeswax, or you can use the wax that is down here, and paraffin wax will work. And you can use that to store a little bit of your butane in a chest next to it if you want to. Not a bad idea, but I'm just going to leave that drum of it sit there for now. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about how I set this up, why I set it up the way I did, or how any of it works, just let me know. But we now have energy, storage, and a lighter finally. And now we just got to deal with what we're going to do with our hydrogen. And we will be good to go for most of our stuff. Like I said, I'm going to try to set this up with the other thing, the other way of doing this. So if you see a bonus video the next day, tomorrow, that would be me actually succeeding at this. If not, look for me in XAR to be doing it again, where I don't actually have him muted, and you can hear how to do it and why we're doing it. Anyways, it's been long enough. I've rambled long enough. Take it easy.